Welcome to reality NSFW.
I cannot stop laughing.
Oh, dude.
Well, we have a special guest.
We do, and I can't wait. Today has been a fucking awesome day.
Yes.
I started my day watching Australian Survivor.
Yes.
And
then what better way to start the day? Yeah.
Yeah. Unfucking believable.
If you started every day watching Australian Survivor, do you think your life would be a better life?
Yeah. My kids are like, I don't even want to watch season 42.
I don't either.
They're like, this is so fucking good.
But come to Louisville.
Dude.
Then come to Durham and then come to wherever. So, hey, we'll talk about Australian Survivor while we're there. So did you hear the big news today?
I did. That Paramount Plus is not having Sandra's season.
They're showing it after the season.
Yeah,
but guess what?
Fucking lame.
But guess what? We're gonna have links after each episode available on the ad-free version.
Okay, cool.
On the Patreon.
Sweet. Okay. Yeah, I saw Dirty Harry posted some shit.
So we're about to hit 200 patrons, and I'm getting a John O tattoo. What? I mean, I think that wasn't the bet.
Dude, I tell you what, if 2022 couldn't get any crazier, Fairplay, I told my kids, like, I'm about to get a fucking Cincinnati Bengals fucking tattoo.
Yeah.
So things could not be any fucking crazier.
But do you love John O?
I do love John O. Australian Survivor is so great that I'm just in awe, and just every episode never ceases to amaze me of how great the show is that I fucking love.
But how it took me till 2022 to see the Matt Bischoff that I wanted to see, and his name is John O.
Dude, I hear you.
And he's on Australian Survivor.
I
He's
know.
my best friend.
I know. He's fucking unbelievable, dude. I love him.
You are the worst.
well, my son Ryder goes. He's like, Dad. He was like, he's like, do you think that I could grow a mullet like that? And I said, you probably could, because you got really curly fucking hair. Oh,
it's a strong mullet.
It's an epic mullet.
You know, we have a special guest coming.
I do, and I don't know who it is. I was, as I'm watching the episode, I'm thinking, who could the special guest be? I'm like, is it Nova? Is it Luke Toki? Is it the Golden God? Is it Visor Man Andy?
Yeah. No.
Is it Booty Queen? Oh
Sam?
God. Yeah, any of them.
Any of them.
No. Oh fuck. There are just so many great players, and watching the show, I watch it on Sunday mornings.
Yeah.
And not only is just the nature footage, right? Like just
everything,
the beautiful.
It's Survivor.
The challenges and the fact that we're getting stuff around camp, just the things that don't even matter game wise, right? They filmed a lot of this shit in Caramoan where we're playing bocce ball with coconuts, and I'm climbing a coconut tree, and I'm nervous as fuck, and I'm telling Michael Snow, I feel like Ozzy, and they bring the helicopters in, and in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my God, this is going to be so epic on TV. They show none of it. They show all of this.
All of it.
In addition to strategy and gameplay. But this is the game of Survivor that I fucking love, and I can't wait to see who our guest is. And my apologies. I thought I had another half hour, so my apologies for running behind.
Yeah, the guest hates you.
Okay.
Because I have only said good things about this guest.
Well,
and you have not.
Okay. Oh God.
So I just want to set it up with that. That I am the good guy here and you are the bad guy.
I'm about to get shit on.
You deserve it.
I do. You
deserve to get shit on. Okay.
I deserve it.
All right. Should we start or should we stall some more?
Let's fucking go, dude. Let's fucking do this.
So previously on Survivor, because we get that on Australian Survivor because it's so much better. Yeah. The end of the Super 7.
That's right.
Thank God.
Oh. Yeah, the Sports Alliance, I understand.
I get it.
But
you look for something simple.
You do
out of the gate.
The difference is the Sporting Alliance this year are the geriatric old motherfuckers,
and Abby, and Ross, who does not want to be declared old.
That's right. And I love
all
Ross.
It really is. Because we don't see the real conversation between Luke, Toki, and Ross, but I'm pretty sure it's as simple as, dude, you're not old.
Right.
You're old.
And Ab, like,
you're cool, man. Like, honestly, I hated Ross. I think I love Ross.
I love Ross too. First of all, anyone that can be a big wave surfer like that is a badass. Okay?
Yeah, but he sucked on episode 1.
He did, but I'm beginning to you're starting to see his kind of sarcastic like personality emerge.
He's cool as fuck.
And he's on a way different level than E.T. and the Weasel guy Steve and
Weasel guy Steve is the worst.
He is the worst.
Oh, I mean, my god, I did like he's just like in a fucking skate almost killed me. I'm like, wouldn't have been the worst thing.
I will.
Guess who's not our guest? Steve.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
But I will say something is like during this episode.
Oh, we'll get there.
I know. I think I don't like Steve.
Yeah.
But I also
amazing story.
Amazing story, and I don't mind how things played out. I understand Steve's perspective of things. That went down on the episode.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Let's add our guest to the stream.
Oh my god.
Hold on. I have to do this real quick. Hold on. Excuse me, because
are you putting on? Oh yes.
Sorry.
Is that the first time you put a visor on?
Sorry, cool guys wear visors. My bad, Matt Bischoff. I don't know what your philosophy is in life, but cool guys wear visors.
Apparently so. Well, Andy, welcome to the show. My apologies for being late. I thought I had another half an hour. So here in Ohio, my football team, the Cincinnati Bengals, won the AFC championships. They're going to the Super Bowl, which has not happened in over 30 fucking years. So I've been in complete disbelief. Even like, dude, I'm getting texts from like Troy Zan and other survivors that know I live in Cincinnati that are like, congratulations, dude. And I'm like, fuck, dude, Troy Zan's fucking texting me. Like, it's fucking pretty cool. The whole survivor community. And Andy, I want to give you mad props for being such a huge fan of the show. And
that's not what you said on previous podcasts.
Well, no, but I got a blue tongue. I've been eating.
He ate out his wife. She's Smurfette. You might be familiar with her work.
She is Smurfette, but
you should see his butthole. It's blue too. And she's actually she's with the trans community.
But Andy, like, so you are a massive fan, and I know we shit on you a little bit on the podcast because and Johnny even too, like.
No, I don't. Please, show me the documented footage of me shitting on Andy every week.
But I feel it's a pretty strong thing when you come out on this season that we're watching, and you're like, I'm a super fan, and I'm gonna be like the fucking greatest player to ever play this game. I'm gonna win. You're gonna see me on Winners at War. I'm gonna be better than Tony Vlachos. I'm gonna be an all-star.
Fuck the show I'm doing. For all you producers of Australian Survivor, go fuck yourself. I'm talking about the real show on the mainland. I
think I must have been sort of overdosing on my Survivor vision board that morning. Before that, so that was actually, would you believe that was way before the show happened. That was the first ever in-person casting session that I was doing with the person who was the executive producer at the show at the time. And I think she was like, okay, you're such a big fan. Like, tell me how good you're going to be. How good are you going to be out there? And I just kind of went with it. And, well, like, I guess it got me on the show.
Well, you did say something similar on the island as well.
I think on the island.
Last episode, you said you would be the best on
dominant, whatever.
Yeah. So your grandiose statement stopped a little. Andy, I don't know whether to love you or hate you. I got.
Well, look, you're not alone there, Johnny. But surely this is exactly what you went through, right? Let's go back to
I get it. I get it.
You lived this.
I did live this. And it sucks because I can't talk about what I haven't seen. So here's my thing going into this season. So it's champions versus contenders, and you make these grandiose statements at the beginning of the show because like we do the cast assessment every season, and I'm guessing you saw the one we did for Blood versus Water.
I actually haven't yet. My sister watched it.
Your sister's watched.
Yeah. I'm too scared to listen.
I'm in your sister's DMs. Just want to throw that out there.
Oh, you slipped in there. Okay.
Don't make it weird.
Hey, someone's making it weird. I'm not making it weird. Are you making it weird?
I'm potentially making it weird. I assure you. But you say these things, and I'm just like, okay. I watched Australian Survivor out of order, so I started with All Stars, and I worked my way back, and now I'm up to this season. Your debut. And we're on episode 4.
Watch the episodes in a season in order?
Yes. Well, no, I'm familiar with that concept.
Work your way backwards?
I'm familiar with that concept. I had the opportunity to watch All Stars while season 40 was going. And the entire time, like Matt's like, this is pretty fucking good. I'm just like, this sucks compared to Australian All Stars. He's just like, blah, 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 blah. He's not listening to me. Took me 2 years to get him to watch Australian Survivor, and now Matt Bitchall's just like, fuck US Survivor, they're the fucking worst.
Well, hey, look, there's a lot to hate about Australian Survivor as well, but at least it's different and it does a few things the US doesn't.
But I want to ask you, like,
to hate the editing.
What do you like? What's there to hate about it? Because, like, from my perspective,
same.
I'm a huge Survivor fan, right? So like Johnny and I are praising Australian Survivor, like, wow, they show character development and they show this footage of the real life and there's gameplay and there's shit around camp and it's all the shit we love about old school Survivor that new school Survivor doesn't show anymore. So we're getting everything we need. So we're watching like season 41 of American Survivor, like this is terrible because we're comparing it to watching Australian Survivor, which we think is great. So I want to ask you from your perspective, like, do the Australians think that American Survivor is like way superior? And why do people not like it?
I wouldn't say that. What I'd say is, so here's the stuff that's great about Australian Survivor, right? So firstly, the episodes are like twice as long.
Yes.
So all of us fans who've always been frustrated at 38-minute episodes of US Survivor, suddenly you've got like 75 minutes, 80-minute episodes so that you can kind of, flesh out characters, as you say, show some of those little moments of camp life that, we never see in US Survivor anymore.
But they were able to do it in 42. They were able to do it in 42 minutes before.
Yeah, I know.
That's my problem. If they weren't able to do it before, I wouldn't be missing anything.
Yeah, but when you got 17 idols and advantages in every episode,
I know.
A lot of time, right?
Oh, that's what you want, right? All these advantages.
Oh, yeah, that's what I want.
Is that what you're looking for?
So Australian Survivor is still shows a reward challenge in every episode, pretty much, right? So you've got that rhythm in an episode that we used to get out of the US of a reward challenge and an immunity challenge, which is great. The thing that drives us crazy about Australian Survivor, though, and as you get into more seasons, you'll see more evidence of this, is how uneven the editing can be sometimes. So we've literally had players in Australian Survivor who've lasted 3 weeks in the game and got 0 confessionals. Like,
because
0.
they weren't good TV.
Yeah, but you've got
I don't care.
Hour-and-a-half long episodes.
Don't care. If you're
this person doing something.
You're shitty TV, I have no problem with that. 0.
Okay,
Sorry, Andy, you're good TV. I might not like you, and I might love you. I don't know. You're on the bubble.
So some people are good TV, and for whatever reason, they just left on the cutting room floor. And I can understand.
They are not good TV. If they were good, there's no way they're leaving them on the cutting room floor if they're good TV. There's no way.
I'm sure that's their argument. Okay, next point.
Yeah.
You've got 24 players out there, so it's a huge cast, so it can be like, difficult to kind of get to know people in the way that you can in a 16 or 18 player season. But the weird thing that results in is because of the number of episodes they have to sort of use to fill the slot in Australia, you end up having minimum 2 and sometimes like 3, even 4 non-elimination episodes throughout the season. And that results in, firstly, like it's, like a non-elimination episode is kind of like,
So, I did a live show like with the hourglass twist on 41.
Yeah.
I did a live show, and that was the end of the episode. Like a live viewing party in Worcester, Massachusetts, and like we're all sitting there afterwards. It was like the most anticlimactic episode of Survivor ever.
There's a lot of sex analogies you could probably draw there, but very unsatisfying, right? Very unsatisfying. Now,
it's coming from the guy that wears a visor.
The other thing that it results in, though,
unsatisfying sex,
is you end up with these ridiculous twists sometimes to kind of like justify, like to act as the MacGuffin for a non-elimination. So they're like,
I'm still okay
when you get up to the last season, you'll see one of the worst of all time.
I've seen that, but here's my thing. I feel like producers. Here's my thing. I said that to start the sentence, but I'll say it again.
So what's your thing?
My thing is, at the end of the day, you're making a television show. Okay, that's what you're making. So I don't give a fuck what's fair, what's not fair, whatever. Don't be ridiculous. But if you know you're saving 2 people, you save the people you're supposed to be saving. And I got no problem with that.
They're pretty good at that. They're pretty good at that.
What's it called? All-Star. Matt hasn't seen it yet, so no spoilers. But All-Stars, they use that shit very properly.
Yeah. Well, you just wait until you see Brains versus Brawn.
Okay. I've seen that. That one I've watched.
I watched that?
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah, Matt hasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, my favorite character of all time is King George, ever.
Yeah.
So, and I hated him the first 2-3 episodes.
Oh, a lot of people did, but he grows on you, huh?
Oh my God, he's like a fucking STD. He's amazing. He's my favorite cast person. Like for some reason, it's different. He's my favorite cast person in the history of the game.
Yeah.
Because they knew exactly what they were putting in there.
Incredible casting.
Yes.
And the fact that he made it to the end against someone like Haley.
He did not. Stop it.
How good would it have been if he did?
It would have been amazing. So, all right. So, Matt, we're talking episode 4. Andy, you can fill in the blanks here because there's plenty of blanks to be filled. And then we're at the end. Don't worry, we're going to talk blood versus water as much as you can say. But of course,
we watched episode 4. That's the first time I've watched an episode from that season since it aired the first time. So
what?
Yeah.
Oh my God! And did you see your visor?
Yeah, it looks so shiny and white.
All right. Why did you pick the visor?
Okay, so there's a bit of a long story. So firstly, I do play a lot of golf. Like golf is, it's kind of like my passion, and like a visor is traditional attire on the golf course. But more
so is a hat.
The biggest thing for me is that I have very Scottish skin, right? Like I think Johnny, you and I probably have similar skin tone, and I need a ton of sun protection. Like I've been riddled with skin cancer. I almost lost my eye to skin cancer. Would you believe? Like I had to have a skin cancer removed from my eyelid. So I've had a kind of probably the last 10 years, a long sort of battle with that. And so going out to Survivor, where you're standing in these challenges, for you can be 6 hours in the sun.
Stand up and wait.
Yeah, exactly. So I tested actually a bunch of different hats to try to figure out what would give me the best sun protection. And I tried a few sort of wide brimmed hats, but then the problem is for a lot of the challenges where you might be say throwing or climbing through things, you can't keep a big hat on your head.
But a visor,
throwing is kind of my specialty. So I needed something that wasn't a huge wide brim, but still sort of protected my temples. And so that visor that I found has like this like super wide brim that actually protected my temples and was kind of a golf visor. So the whole thing just kind of like, oh well, let's just sort of go with the golf theme, and hopefully I won't die of skin cancer.
I'm liking this guy more and more.
And it worked.
Oh, I love him already. Just like
does this bother you, Matt?
Yeah, you have to re-record all your old episodes now.
No, we don't.
No.
I assure you, we stand by everything we say.
Damn it.
Damn it. So no, I mean there's a hateability to you, and I get it. Like I was the first bad guy in the history of reality television. The first the first guy going in.
Like, you're kind of what I was going for.
Yeah, thank you. So I get it.
Half you, half Tsunami,
But at the same time, as someone that is on the Mount Rushmore, I'm just like, this guy's your grandiose statements. I'm just like, fucking earn that. Like, I get it because it gets you airtime, and I'm all for getting airtime. I'm just like, but man, this guy's saying, like, fucking do something first and then say that shit. So, but at the same time,
that would be the traditional way to go about it, I guess.
No. You did it right. I would do the same thing. So I also hate myself. Okay, so understand this. So with all that said, I'm growing to like you.
Johnny, the only thing I hated about you and your season was freaking going on that reward challenge with Burton. That's the only thing that killed me. Like
it wasn't even a problem until once we got out there. Burton goes, just so you don't have to worry about anything. I told Lil we were switching the vote from from Sandra to Dara right before we left. So we're good. And I'm like, why the fuck would you tell her that? Like why did you need her to think? So that was so internally
that was actually what caused
that was everything. Because Lil goes, if they can change the vote from Dara or from Sandra to Dara, then they can change the vote on me.
Of course.
But that's the last thing he left her with. I'm just like, why did you say it? He goes, I just wanted to keep her in the loop, just to show that we're cool. And I'm like, she's not cool.
The pain.
So yeah. So no, it honestly, if he had not have done that, it wouldn't have been a flaw. But it was a flaw.
Yeah, I mean,
but it was potentially not a flaw.
You're supposed to win that reward challenge and then say, you know what? I'm going to send the two girls. I'm going to send or I'm going to send Burton and Lil.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay in the three and just take care of it.
I know. But I'll tell you what, that night was magical.
Oh, I'm sure it was very romantic.
It was very, and Burton was one of the best men in my wedding.
Handsome man. I'm sure
he's a very handsome man, and
quite charming. A little bit of one-on-one time.
That day, honestly, was worth $1 million to me.
Well, given it literally was.
It literally was, but it literally was worth $1 million to me. If I had the option of that day or $1 million, I would probably choose that day.
Yeah, he's that good a guy.
It was really incredible to be able to step away from the game and like, how the game has some really
game face on Fairplay. I can't believe I'm hearing this.
The game has some really bad days, and to have a game to have a day that's that incredible for me hurt. I mean, I've made $1 million.
Yeah.
After Survivor.
Yeah.
It happened. Would I have liked it then? Yes. Would I probably be dead now? Probably.
You make a very good point, actually.
Yeah. But no, I mean, like there's certain moments in your life that are priceless.
Yeah.
That just life experience, man, is worth way more than money.
That day.
That's right. The memory lasts forever.
That day is worth $1 million to me.
Blown through $1 million after taxes in Vegas in like
seconds. Seconds.
Oh, Fairplay would have blown through it quickly.
I love money. I love money, but no, that like as crazy as that sounds, like that day was so special for me in my life because we did it. Like I mean, we got to we played one of the most amazing games ever. We were one of the greatest pairs ever. And then the fact that, I'm like, there could be no wrong. And then for Burton to tell me like that night, he goes, don't worry, I told Lil. I'm just like, oh my God, you just fucked it all up. But yeah, no, you're right and I'm right. So, but no, that day was literally magical, because what they didn't show is they gave us a camera to film ourselves.
To film yourselves, like,
yeah, and we were supposed to. We never saw that video. That camera never showed, because like it was pretty NSFW, I assure you.
I am not entirely surprised.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a blast. So, but anyway, so all right, so
that footage for Survivor After Dark.
Yes. So we're starting. We're talking about episode 4. It's the end of the Super 7. We hate the Super 7. We think it's the worst alliance in the history of Survivor. It's like a Big Brother alliance.
How can anybody like the Super 7? I mean,
no one.
Yeah, lame.
No one.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the champions versus contenders as a concept.
Yes.
Because that alliance that's what happens when you go with this kind of concept for a season. So champions versus contenders is basically celebrity Survivor versus regular Survivor.
Sure.
Like each of those people, could play on a celebrity version of Survivor.
Okay.
They're very well known, like sports people and business people and everything else. And so,
but you guys have less celebrities in Australia because you're not the United States.
Exactly. So these guys count as celebrities.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, in season 3, you're going to see the first iteration of it, which was champions versus contenders.
We watched that one.
We did. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Oh, you watched that one? Oh my God.
Yeah, we like. So we did the cast assessment on that one. So here's how good Matt Bischoff is.
Yeah.
So we watched the cast assessment. And he goes, "Hey, this Matt Rogers guy. This guy's a douchebag." That's what Matt says. Okay.
He's a very good footballer.
Yeah. No. He's a douchebag. So then when he watches, he goes, "Oh my God, this guy's Lex Vandenberg. Are you kidding me? One of my best friends."
He kind of was. Yeah.
He was fucking awesome. I love Matt Rogers.
And then he sees Shane Gould. He goes, "This old bag won't make it past the first day." There's no chance.
Excellent pick.
Yes. And then previously, the season 2 we watched. He goes, AK. He goes, "This guy's all about the bitches and craft beer." Would you describe?
Fair.
Would you describe AK as that?
AK is a legend.
Wow, legend, Matt.
Yeah. He's a legend. He's a huge Survivor fan.
Oh, okay.
I love AK.
Not about the bitches and craft beer.
Look, I'm pretty sure AK's about the ladies, and I
he's got a lady.
That he's never met a craft beer that he didn't like.
Well, he never met a snack he didn't like.
But both those seasons, so AK's season was my first, the one that Jericho won.
We skipped
and
Mate Ship.
Shane Gould. We watched that one, and now we're watching yours.
Yeah.
So watching Champions versus Contenders 2. What I like about your season so far is that the last Champions versus Contenders reminded me of Fans versus Favorites that I played, where the returning players decimate the newbies, right? That's what happened. Yeah. The champions decimate the contenders.
Yeah.
This season, I enjoy it because the contenders are putting up a fight and winning challenges, and it makes it way more interesting. And I like it because you still have these like champions, but they're older, so they're not just going to decimate the newbies. Yeah. So, but this season, what I love, like I'm watching today, and I'm seeing this episode start, and they're showing camp life. Dirty Harry's acting like a news anchor, and they're all they're all just kind of playing along. And I love this camp life stuff that we don't get to see on American Survivor anymore. And then we see the footage of Sarah, and the whole tsunami situation. And this kind of like is a prequel to the, her episode really today of the Yeah. So like, I love this. Now, do the Australian viewers of Survivor enjoy this character development of videos from home and their real life?
Yeah, I think it's something that the Australian production's done a really good job of, is sort of fleshing out these characters in a way that you don't. Actually, you used to get a little bit of in US Survivor in the early days, and then they've obviously just started doing, I think, like a little bit of it again.
Yes, because they're hearing that we love you more than us.
Yeah, so some of this footage from home. So I think it does help really kind of place these characters and give you a sense of where they've come from to be out there. And obviously for this episode, which is like a huge episode for Sarah, I think you need to have that context to understand what she goes through in that challenge.
Did she tell you the entire story prior? Like,
yeah, we had sort of sat around the campfire, and I think they sort of showed some flashes of it where she really kind of shared everything. And I mean, it's an incredible story. Like, do you guys remember the tsunami when it hit? It was like 2004, I want to say, and it affected a lot of Australians because a lot of Australians holiday in sort of Thailand, Indonesia. She was in Sri Lanka, so that part of the world, there's usually like a ton of Australians up there. So it was huge news in Australia when it happened. And it was almost one of those things where like everybody sort of like knew someone who'd been there, kind of thing.
Yeah, on Fans versus Favorites, when we did our pre-jury trip, so we were supposed to go to Australia.
Okay.
And they're like, it's too many famous survivors. It was me and Yowman and Amy, and they're like, there's too many of you. So they switched it from Australia to Thailand. And so we go to Thailand, and everywhere we went, all the Australians were like, "Hey, Johnny Fairplay!" And there was Australians everywhere. I'm just like, all right, well,
more Australians in Thailand, yeah.
And I'm just doing pictures nonstop. I'm like, I don't know.
No spoilers at all. No spoilers.
Yeah, I'm looking to work in Australia.
Get down here. Well, we used to be COVID free, not anymore.
You're about to be you used to be American Survivor free, and that shit's about to change, and we'll talk about that at the end of this. Yeah. So real quick, Matt, before you get to post Sarah Tsunami talk, real quick, day 8 on the Champions Tribe, the Fun Alliance rules. Fuck the Super 7, and Luke is the Snake Charmer. Does this man steal a fucking confessional or what?
Yeah, the guy knows his way around the front of a camera. Like he's fashioned a turban or something.
Dude,
he's the Pied Piper. Like, yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
he's very good. He's like, I got a chance to talk with him right after All Stars, and we talked about a certain person's game that we're not going to talk about, and he was like, he's explaining how he does reality TV, like, and we're different in what we do, and I think we're both amazing at what we do. But like, I was just like, in the history of reality television, I've never been more awed by one person's approach to how they do reality TV than Toki ever.
That's amazing.
I mean, he is a fucking genius.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, and I mean, he owns that camera. Like
he does.
Magnetically attracted to him. It's super impressive.
He's a natural at it. It's like confessionals and just
the minor.
Mm-hmm. I know.
The fuck? Are you kidding me?
Yep. He's completely embracing it. But so I want to talk. So Sarah, she has this. They show the footage of the tsunami she was in. It tells this crazy story, and then we go to this reward challenge. Okay.
Well, hold on, real quick before the reward challenge. Ross is now allowed to cook by Nova. because this shitty Super 7 alliance crumbled upon itself. Ross is now allowed to cook.
Yeah, apparently Nova ran a very tight ship over at that camp. So
it seemed like it, right?
I think there were a lot of rules around who was allowed to touch what and at what time.
It seemed like a lot more camaraderie on the Contenders tribe versus what was going on the because well, number one, they were divided.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in addition to being divided, you had the suit Nazi.
Your words.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm talking about a character, not.
Yeah.
So anyway, so then real quickly, they look at eating. Is that termites or ants that you guys
I
eat?
think that's termites. There are a few termite nests around that I think we all had a go at some stage.
Yeah. So next we get Steve is isolating himself, and then we get Steve's story. It's an amazing story.
Steve was sleeping in a cave.
Yeah, by himself.
20 yards away from the shelter by himself, which I wouldn't recommend
ever.
Stupid.
Unless you're gassy.
About the social game, but I think
if you're gassy,
separating yourself is not great.
If you're gassy or a ridiculous snorer, I get I'm just like, hey, you know what? Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But otherwise, I just feel like so we see his backstory, amazing story. He's just ridiculously unlikable.
and the funny thing was, he's an Australian hero. That Olympic gold medal he won is every person in Australia has seen that race, right?
Yeah.
It's like the Miracle on Ice,
Yes. It's the
Australian version of the Miracle on Ice.
Yeah, it's not us.
Yeah.
We love us so much. You have no idea how much we love us.
Oh, no. I lived in the US for a couple of years. I've got a fair idea.
Real quick question. Do you think Australian survivors are better at the game than US survivors, or do you think we're better at the game?
I think Americans
you have to pick.
Better. I think Americans are probably better.
Boom. Dirty Harry said that. Golden God said that.
Yeah.
Luke Toki said that.
Right.
That's fascinating to me because when I'm watching,
we're like, we suck. You're so much better.
That's why I really hope that there is an Australian versus American
US.
Survivor.
Yeah,
I think it's going to happen.
It is.
I genuinely think it's going to happen. I mean, CBS.
They told Sandra. They told Sandra out there. They're like, you're the litmus test.
Yeah, there you go. And the fact that everything's moving to streaming platforms now.
We got huge horrific news today. JLP said that your season is going to be on Paramount Plus, and then Sandra just got an email 20 minutes before we went live saying it's not going to be on there till the end of the season.
So I was texting her this morning. Yeah, so I think they must be holding back all the episodes so they can release them all at once on Paramount Plus.
But if go to hold on, let me put this up here. adfreensfw.com. Oh, I'm not. It doesn't matter. Everyone here is a patron. Maybe I'll release this at some point for the freeloaders. Adfreensfw.com. Guess what? We are gonna have links to every episode.
Now you're talking.
Now we're talking. Now we have to
how excited are you, Andy? When does it start tonight? The first episode for you?
Yeah. So literally, the first episode is in 6 hours.
Are you doing a party or anything like that, or are you just watching?
So we're doing a family thing tonight, and then tomorrow night, we've got neighbors and friends coming around. My sister and I live close by, so
that is so. I am so happy for you two. I mean, not that you got to play it once, but now you get to play it with your sister. And I believe Johnny and I think that your sister is going to do better than you. Maybe.
I mean, undoubtedly.
I don't know if I said that. Andy could correct you if he had listened, but he didn't.
But I feel.
I think I picked Andy further than his sister.
Okay, but the fact that you get.
I felt like I said that to wound Andy because. And my prediction was Andy was going to link up with people that are familiar with reality TV.
Yeah.
And veterans of the game. He's going to link up with them, and to wound him, they would take care of his sister first, was my prediction.
Well, I am thrilled for you to be able to experience this whole Survivor experience for the second time with your sister. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
and
honestly, by far the most exciting part of it for me is just giving my sister the opportunity, because she genuinely has been a fan from day dot as well. But you know what it's like. So she's a mum of three. She's been 100% selflessly dedicated to raising these incredible kids the last 13, 14 years. She doesn't do anything for herself.
Get this kid an iPhone. That's on you, Andy. Andy used some of that poker money. Get one of these kids.
Yeah.
I saw they were like, could have edited this video better that I put on Instagram if I had an iPhone. So yeah.
No, that was her daughter.
I know. Talking to you. Talking to you, Andy.
Her daughter's been begging for an iPhone for the last 18 months. And
can you make it happen? You make it happen. Here's the deal. Right. You get our daughter an iPhone. I'm making
just to give Kate the opportunity to go out and play, like to give her.
Oh no, Andy, you're not stepping out of this. You give your kid you give your sister's kid an iPhone. I make this video free for everybody.
Huh.
Interesting.
That's a good deal.
Okay. All right. Let's do this then. Okay. So you make this video free for everyone, and you provide the link for people to watch in the US, which I'm sure everyone's going to love.
Yeah. Well, if they join ad-free NSFW, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Then Annabelle's. What am I going to link to? Okay. Her next birthday. Her birthday this year.
Yeah.
We sort out an iPhone for her. Okay. All right. Done deal.
All right. Well, this episode's free, guys.
But I totally get what you're saying, Andy. Like, so your sister's stay-at-home mom has sacrificed her own dreams and goals to focus on being a mom. And I can relate to that because when I was out playing Survivor Caramoan, my wife was holding down being a stay-at-home mom, and her life became being the mom. And we even talked about this earlier today. It's when you become that invested, you kind of lose some of your hey Matt, remember when I used to do paintings and shit? I haven't done any of that because I'm focused on being a mom. So the fact that she's able to fucking live out this dream of Survivor is so awesome. Because I am if my wife could if I played Blood versus Water and my wife was, I would do what Rupert did. I would rather my wife play and go deep into the game and me go home first to experience.
Not Andy. That ain't Andy's MO.
100%. Honestly, we talked about it before the season, because you think about what happened in that first Blood versus Water season and Rupert being placed in that position. And, we thought, well, look, that they might do something similar. Mm-hmm. And we literally had that conversation. And there's just something about family. And you understand this, Matt. I know you understand this as well, Johnny.
I don't. I'm like, please, Andy, be the scumbag I want you to be. If you're given the same opportunity, do not fuck this up. Sorry, ridiculously lovable.
You know where I'm coming from.
I do.
No, Andy, you're ruining it all. Take it off the visor.
You can't help it. You want to be the evil villain genius, but then you look across at this person you love.
No, there's no love.
You think this means more to them.
Yeah,
that's you're not the greatest villain of all time. There's a black hole where a heart should be right here for Johnny Fairplay. I don't give a fuck who you are saying. They're like, hey, you can sacrifice your spot. I'm like, great. That means they can sacrifice it for me. All right, see ya. I'm going to go win. Bye.
Well, I can't wait for this Blood versus Water season, but I want to go back to Sarah at this reward challenge. So first of all, this reward challenge is for hot chocolate, which I would not give a fuck about.
No.
Hot
Honestly.
chocolate and marshmallows. We had some shitty rewards this season.
That is the worst.
Every season of Australian Survivor. The budget for the challenges is $8. The budget for the reward is $4.
Yeah.
So I honestly, if I was,
have we had the episode yet? It's so long since I've said. Have we had the episode where the reward is a mystery box?
Yes, that was last week.
Was that last episode?
Yeah. Oh, and Jono got to pass them out too.
Yeah. Do you know what we called that reward?
Yeah, shit.
The mystery box of shit.
There you go.
There was nothing in that box that anybody remotely wanted.
Yeah, you really want this.
And the other stuff going, yay.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean,
we got the pirate chest on Pro Islands, and I was just like, this is the worst shit ever. They had buried it in it. The ground crept. Everything rotted.
Nice.
And Burton's like, we should just be happy we got something. I'm like, no, they need to replace this shit with some non-rotted shit. Y'all fucked up, not us. We found this shit in time.
This reward, I would not care at all if I won this reward. And even if I'm starving, the marshmallows and hot chocolate, it would probably make me feel like shit because I'd probably get like a caffeine headache from the chocolate. But man, this challenge, it's fucking gnarly because it's the tower you guys have to climb is super
Towers
tall.
of Terror are back. And thank you, Jono, for calling it the Towers of Terror if Sarah wasn't working through enough.
Exactly.
It just could have been,
not to put too fine a point on it. And then he's like, and these are even higher than they look. And let me assure you, they're pretty freaking high.
Yeah, I hate this shit. I like it, and Maddie hates it, and we learn other people hate it. But yeah, I'm not a fan of this. And for the record, here's what's so ridiculous about Australian Survivor. How about just jumping off, grabbing the flags, and getting them? And the first fucking tribe to do that wins. No, you got to for no reason dive
underwater for another 20 minutes.
Go fuck yourself.
And it was so choppy. Like the ocean was so gnarly. I'm like, this is so. When Sarah is up there freaked out about, she's having PTSD about jumping off this. It's like, I don't blame her. And I would just be like, hey, everyone, I'm scared of heights. This is giving me fucking visions of the tsunami shit. And hot chocolate's not worth this. So fuck this, right? Yeah. But I did find this to be a little bit, I mean, I'm just being real here. Like when John comes over there and then Maddie comes over there, I said, this is going to be a Suri moment.
Moment.
Yeah. I thought they were going to be like, the challenge is over, but at least Sarah's going to like jump off into the water to overcome her fears. So like, I was a little bit disappointed in the anticlimactic shit that I thought, but I don't blame her for not doing it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
But I will say this: when John swims
there
back,
was no way known she was ever jumping.
No. Mm-hmm. But when John swims back, I'm like, once again, this is my blood versus water pick.
I've been up there because I waited till almost. I waited till towards the end, before I jumped, because we were trying to like sort of get as many of the girls through first.
Yes.
Knowing that the guys would probably be more okay at the end.
Unless you're me.
So I've been standing up there with Sarah for, God, like 20 minutes or something by that point, by the time I left. And it was pretty clear that it just wasn't going to make sense for her that day. Yeah. So, and I mean, God, who can put ourselves in her situation? I mean,
no. Was it because, do you think, of the fear of bringing back memories from the tsunami incident, or do you think she was just like freaked out because it was like overly tall and she was afraid of heights?
I honestly think it was a bit of both. I don't think she's great with heights and and jumping from 6 meters or whatever it is anyway. But then when you factor in, imagine like the visceral stuff, like deep down about that feeling of like going and being submerged in ocean water when that's what happened to her, jumping off the roof in Sri Lanka. I mean,
I will say that I totally.
Sure body is probably just screaming at you like, don't go through that experience again.
I totally get what you're saying. However, if I'm like, let's say as a kid, I almost drowned in a pool. And then I choose to play. I'm not dogging Sarah at all, but if I choose to play Survivor, knowing that there's fucking gnarly challenges in the fucking ocean, like I probably, if I was that freaked out, I probably wouldn't have signed up for Survivor anyways.
I don't think
it's a tough one, right?
It is.
I don't think the Tower of Terror was in her mind when she signed up.
It probably wasn't. It probably was, because the thing is, what I noticed about this. But Andy, correct me if I'm wrong. Don't you guys think that the best strategy is not even to look down, is just to look directly at what you're grabbing? Yeah. Because I saw a couple people like jump. They hesitated because they're like they look down. They're like, oh fuck, I would not have. I'm scared of heights.
Maddie's right. I got to go first.
100%,
I got to go first. I got to get this fucking done. I'm looking straight ahead. That's it.
Yeah.
And if I don't make it,
you have to ignore and this is what we were trying to tell the guys: is ignore and literally just pretend it's on dry land, sort of thing, because the actual amount of the jump and the reach, like probably pretty much anyone can do it if you can get past the fact that there's nothing underneath you. So it's at least half mental.
Yeah,
the challenges are fucking awesome in Australian Survivor.
They are.
Like every single challenge that I watch. First of all, I'm watching it with my family, and my boys are like, well, "This challenge is awesome. I would love to do. I would love to do this. Like, I wish there was a resort, Dad, that you could go to like partake in these challenges because they're fucking awesome."
Head down to Fiji. The challenge setups are probably still there.
Did you have this one in your backyard?
I didn't have this particular one in my backyard, but I have done a lot of cliff jumping over the years, backpacking around the place. So, hey, but Matt, surely that moving the box through the mud, it must probably like a couple of episodes ago. I think episode 2.
We think it.
Don't tell me that looked like fun.
We agreed that we're thinking over 50% of U.S. tribes in the history of Survivor could not finish. At least.
So what had happened with that challenge was there was a bunch of rain overnight.
That's what we said.
So they tested it the day before, and they'd gotten the mud, to like a certain consistency, but it was still dry enough.
Yeah.
But then there was a bunch of rain, and so once that box got onto the mud, the suction from beneath in wet mud, like a forklift wouldn't have lifted that thing.
Yeah.
That was like one of the gnarliest things I've ever seen in the I said, how are they even gonna fucking do this? Like, this is like undoable. It was crazy. So this challenge
more frustrating than not being able to finish, especially like I'm the puzzle guy. Like that's the thing I'm actually good at, and that challenge ended with a puzzle. It's like I'm good at two things in the challenges: throwing stuff and puzzles. Like
we've seen it, but even though you didn't tell anybody. So real quick, Maddie hates heights too. Harry has the flag in his mouth when he's swimming. I couldn't do that when Bonaducci knocked my front 4 teeth out. I had the four root canals, and still to this day I cannot swim with the flag in my mouth.
Really?
To this day. So
Bonaducci's got a lot to answer for, Johnny.
Good for you, Dirty Harry. Sam is hot as balls. Jesus fuck, this chick ain't got 1 second of airtime, but every time she does, holy moly, I can drop one out.
It's worth it. You only need small doses.
Apparently. So John goes back because he's an awesome guy, and if I played Blood versus Water, fuck Matt Bischoff, I want Jono.
Mm-hmm.
Would you take John? Okay, you just did Blood versus. If you had a choice of your sister or Johnny O, who do you choose? If you choose
Johnny is a legend. Johnny's great for a game of beach cricket or footy. He'll always know where the nearest pub is with cold beer. He's got a very cool car.
He does.
Yeah, maybe I would choose Johnny.
Okay, there you go. That's what that. Look, I love Matt Bischoff, and I'm choosing this guy I've never met in my life. So Maddie goes back to Jono picked to join the champions for hot chocolate, and it is revealed that Pia was Johnny's crush.
Yeah.
Were you familiar with Pia as well?
Yeah. So the backstory here: Pia Miranda starred in a movie when she was a teenager in, I want to say, the late 80s, early 90s, called Looking for Alibrandi. And she was kind of probably like every teenage guy of a certain age's crush around that time. So, yeah, I was happy for Johnny that he got to have a little hug there, or his lost love.
Oh,
so was it lost love for you too?
Well, I'm a little bit older, so I was in a slightly different demographic. Okay. But yeah, I mean, everybody kind of had the hots for Pia Miranda.
Wow. All right. There you go. So next, the clue is there whenever there's a reward. You know to have to be looking for a clue. Janine finds it. David, the golden god, sees
Very
For
observant.
the record, Matt knows nothing about the Golden God post this episode. But the Golden God sees she gets the clue and says, "Good job on finding the clue."
I love that.
Which Janine would have been absolutely delighted about.
Yes, thank you for noticing that I found it.
I'm so glad you saw it.
Yes, glad we're cool. So hey, it could have been shitty Steve. So it's okay.
Sure. Good point.
So Janine gets the idol. She follows the clue. She reads it. She gets the idol, and she has to give the idol to a contender, but doesn't choose Johnny O.
Mm-hmm. I was shocked by that because I was like, like she must have had something that we didn't see where he wasn't very trustworthy, because otherwise that is your chance to tell Johnny O the deal that there's an idol at the other camp.
That's right. It feels like it was set up for that, right? Like you've got one of the contenders back there.
And the easiest person so you're on the contenders tribe.
Yeah.
If I'm on the champions tribe, isn't the most approachable person on your tribe John?
Yeah. That's
probably like no
right.
contest.
Probably right. And Johnny was definitely not seen as someone who was kind of like playing the game strategically. He comes across as this guy who's there for the
golly G shucks.
You know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Golly G shucks is this guy's game. And that felt to me like low-hanging fruit from a chick that works with fruit.
So I want to ask you this, Andy, because in American Survivor, I get tired of like certain twists, like fire tokens and things that are just kind of like the hourglass twist, etc. But on Australian Survivor, I do not mind the twists.
You will.
But this
not yet.
But this particular twist with the idol, Janine finds the clue.
I'm okay with this.
So like basically there's another idol at the other camp that she has to tell them about, and then they have to like swap idols. So like, is that something? Are you okay with that type of twist with this idol?
I actually think this is one of the better twists that Australian Survivor has come up with over the seasons. Because look, what you want from a twist is for it to introduce additional strategy to the game, right?
Yeah.
And what this does is anything that forces connection across the tribes, prior to a swap or a merge, tends to make things more interesting. And the fact that you think about it, you've got to try to like figure out who you talk to on the other tribe, how you talk to them. Is there a way you can like negotiate a swap or tell someone to go and look for it? Like it introduces all of this stuff happening, kind of behind the scenes, like before and after challenges. So I think this is some of their best work, and I look forward to you guys seeing how it plays out.
Okay, so I have a question. So if you're you,
which
and
technically I am,
yes, and you're watching Janine on the other tribe get this,
and
you're watching as a viewer,
but
you're still watching you as a player. Are you watching you as a viewer watching Janine going, ooh, Andy's probably not your best pick to share this information? Are you saying that? Because I feel like John O is an easy pick to share this information with. This dude is not using it against you.
That's probably true. Well, the funny thing is, so we were having like these brief conversations, like in this challenge, for example, in this reward challenge, because we were all standing on that floating platform for like 45 minutes while the champions tried to solve a one-word word puzzle.
Yes, they had difficulty.
And Sarah was stuck up the top. So we were actually having a lot of conversations between the tribes as we're standing on these two platforms. And like, that was the first time we found out what Dave's profession was. Like, I remember asking Dave, like, because we knew everyone else on the champions tribe.
What makes you a champion? Well, you're a champion.
We're talking to Dave, and basically we're saying, so who are you then? And he's like, oh, I'm a model, so there was that conversation going on. But yeah, they were a bit like intrigued by me. They're like, okay, so like, what's your story, sort of thing? Like, are you a professional golfer? Like, I wish. So I think there would have been suspicion, but sort of intrigue from someone like Janine.
I don't think she's working with you.
Yeah,
Maybe. I feel like she's working with the girl.
Well, we're at least Janine and I are like a similar age. We both have a business background.
Yeah, I think you guys, if there's a swap or a merge and you're still out there together,
yeah,
I see you guys working together.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
But I think there takes a little bit of time and conversations for that to take place.
Yeah, for sure.
But otherwise, I think you're both like in boxing, like you're a jabbing thing,
circling around the ring.
Yeah, just feeling each other out. Yeah. I would love to feel Janine out.
Yeah, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I assume that was the case.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
All right,
if you're looking to be a kept man, Janine would be a good choice.
Oh my God, Janine! Hi, Johnny Fairplay. I'm in America. I got a passport. Let's go.
There you go.
let's Blood versus Water 2.
But Jono comes back to camp and gives Sarah a marshmallow from which was nice of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was killer. And then I want to ask you about this immunity challenge, because this is a challenge to where you have proclaimed that you have practiced a shit ton for challenges like this. This is almost like you have a skee ball type, if that's what we call it in America, like skee ball.
Yeah.
But it was like
extreme. Call it that there too.
Okay,
you know that skee ball in
I don't fucking know.
Was that Mars? Where are you from?
Carnival games.
But exactly. And this fucking like bamboo obstacle course with the ropes, that looks a little shady, right? Like I'm like, man, this kind of wobbly a little bit. And then I also noticed that all of the women in this challenge wore shorts, wore spandex. And I told my wife, I'm like, do you notice that they're all wearing like shorts and not their bikinis? Because I said, I guarantee you, based off of if there's Johnny Fairplay underneath somebody, look, like I imagine they did that purposely.
Oh my God,
to prevent vag fucking camel toe shots.
I would have created my own Abby OnlyFans just from that footage.
But did they, Andy? Did they was that specifically done on purpose? To where they wouldn't see like a really bad shot, because otherwise the camera.
Yeah,
because the women were going up first a lot, and I'm like, and they're like all spread eagle. I'm like, dude, if they had their bathing suits on, it'd be inappropriate shots.
And in Australia, we don't have as much of the blurry action going on that you guys do in the States.
I know,
but you have way more clothing, right? I'm like, wait a second. I've seen this girl.
You had a new shirt on this episode.
We have more clothing than a lot of US. So some of the US seasons, they kind of like they strand you like with the clothes on your back. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And they fool you, right? So they send you out, oh, we're going to go and do like press photos, and the game will be starting tomorrow, whatever. And it's like suddenly, boom, game is on.
Yeah.
So right. The way it works for us is you get the clothes on your back for day one, what you come into the game with, and that's limited. Like you can't, load up on stuff. You can have, kind of like 2 layers, a shirt and a jumper. And then you have sometime later in the game. So it might be 5 days in, it might be a week in, you get a few additional clothing items.
Yeah.
And that's like 5 extra items. Which
you guys got the day 8. Sweater. You got day 8, you got it because you're in a new shirt.
But honestly, here's the thing. I know American Survivor tries to be like, we're not going to give them their bathing suits at all. Mike White kind of said, but honestly, like, I don't mind seeing you all in different outfits. It actually makes it more interesting to the eyes versus just if a girl goes out there in like a yellow bikini and it's like fucking shit brown by day 5. I don't want to see that, right?
No.
So I don't feel like that. I don't feel like being in the original clothes impacts the game in any way that the viewer sees to make it
not positively.
I agree. As long as you establish the characters, in those first few episodes where you go like, oh yeah, okay. So we
yeah,
know
like
that
your
guy now.
fucking stupid white visor, for example.
Yeah, like your stupid white visor. Hey, you remembered it, right?
I do. I do. Oh, I love it. I love you, Andy.
Let me tell you another funny story about the visor. The other thing I forgot to mention, part of the inspiration for the visor. Do you know who else wore a visor on US Survivor?
Johnny, you
I'm
probably
sorry,
know.
what's that?
Who else?
Do you know who wore a visor on US Survivor? Who's also kind of like one of my heroes?
Oh, some asshole, apparently. Who?
Yul Kwon, in his first season, wore a visor.
I'm all right with Yul.
Yeah, Yul's a legend.
Well, I guess. So, I'm okay with Yul. I mean, there's some survivors I like. There's some survivors I love.
I'm sure.
I really like Yul. I mean, love is tough. I love John O.
How's your relationship with Sandra these days?
I love Sandra.
Because like Sandra's obviously,
I love Sandra. So that's where my relationship. So no, I love Sandra.
Does Sandra love you? Does Sandra love you, Johnny?
Yes.
I'm very glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm very glad to hear that.
But I love John O. I've never met him. I love him. I don't like Matt that much. I used to like him a lot.
Who, me? This guy?
Yeah. I mean, I just compare you to John O now. I mean, he's the same character, Andy. So, and who would you pick? Johnny O or Matt Bischoff?
He probably picked Johnny O.
I don't know. I think Matt and I are kind of vibing here. To be honest. I think he's coming around on the
I would work with Andy. If I got lucky to play American Survivor versus Australian Survivor, and Andy was out there, I would approach Andy to work with Andy.
Okay,
so another super fan of the game that fucking appreciates the game.
Yeah, me and John are coming after both of you.
That respects the game.
No one would suspect us, right? We'd be the odd couple.
That's right. 100%. 100%.
Matt's into pegging. Matt's into pegging. Don't make it weird.
You're an idiot. But this challenge,
each to his or her own.
Oh, there you go, Matt. He's cool with your lifestyle.
This is not my lifestyle. but back to this challenge. So
yeah, real quick before the challenge starts,
yes.
Janine says, Janine's asked by GLP, what did you think about John O coming over? And she goes, it was great. He told us all the secrets and alliances. And so we appreciate that. and I have to feel that there's a part of the contenders that believe that, like 10% believe that, because you're like, there's no way. And then you're just like, he possibly did.
Maybe he did.
Yeah. I mean, not on purpose.
If there was beer there, he would have for sure. So
yes.
I think that's what people would have been thinking. Hot chocolate, maybe we're okay.
Yeah. No, if there was beer, you had to have been a little, like, I say 10% on hot chocolate. I say 60 on beer. Mm-hmm. I love him so much. I mean, I have never.
There's another little tidbit. So was it last episode? You guys had the fish and chips challenge? One of the reward challenges.
I think it's next.
Oh, maybe that's next. Okay, because there's beer in that. I'm not giving too much.
Yeah, that's next.
This is behind the scenes, but so anyway, like the tribe that lost that challenge, one of the members got to go on it, as you would sort of expect, and smuggled back beers for their tribe.
Multiple?
How good is that? Managed to smuggle back multiple beers.
Yeah, well, that's fucking awesome.
Well, he wasn't allowed to smuggle back the marshmallow.
No,
but they realized it was fucking good TV.
It was good TV. Yeah, the beers were a little more on the down.
On the DL. I love it. I fucking please tell me it's
no spoilers.
You, Andy.
One of the highlights. Okay, I'm going to tell you. It was my good buddy Sean managed to smuggle a couple of beers back for Johnny and I in the tribe. Like, how good is that? How good is that?
That would be beers on Survivor. Would be
that's a fucking alliance.
It's like it's manna from heaven, right? Like it's an
fuck the hot chocolate
on your tongue at that point.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's holy moly. That is right before we started Micronesia, Ozzy had flown with an ounce of weed.
Yeah. Okay.
To my grenade. So we got high like every night before we started the game out of an apple. Me and Ozzy, and he goes there, and we like they let us. They were like, you guys can't talk. I'm like, look, treat us like fucking adults. Like, as long as we don't talk strategy, can we just fucking? They're like, okay, if anyone talks strategy, first person that catches, you're all done. And so we're like, okay, so no one talks strategy. So me and Ozzy, we went on to go get high a couple times. And he was just like, what do you think? I'm just like, you just bought yourself 6 days. And he was like, I'm just like, dude, you were the first boot, brother. He goes, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, you're day 6 now. You're good.
A bong forged over a bong. I love it.
Yeah, 6 days. That's all weed gets you. I don't know what a beer gets you on Australian Survivor, but in US Survivor,
it's got to be at least till merge, right?
Oh wow! Look at.
Hey, we love beer down here.
Oh, so this challenge, would you say that Luke Toki was really who majorly lost this challenge? Because I saw a flustered Luke Toki in this episode.
Yeah, this was not Luke's finest challenge moment. I remember, like, Harry and I were standing down the end, obviously waiting to throw the balls, and we were like sort of like sniggering to ourselves because every time he walked in a circle, he was making the knot worse.
Yes, that's how it appeared.
Worse and worse. Like it was genuinely kind of hilarious.
But how gnarly was this, Andy? Because as I'm watching this, I'm telling my family, we're watching it, we're kind of having a little bit of dialogue, and I said, I bet you if fucking Cochran had to do this challenge, like the second half, like, so you go up the first obstacle, right? It's like a big tall thing. Then it's like monkey bar kind of thing overhead. Just to get up on there to use your core. There is so many American survivors. Rupert, too fat, wouldn't be able to get up on there.
Rupert's really
you
strong.
think you would?
Rupert's one of the strongest survivors of all time.
But how hard was this? How hard was it?
Yeah,
I loathe Rupert.
That monkey bar section was so freaking complicated, in terms of like the path you had to take. And the problem was if you screwed up once, like if you sort of came down on the wrong side, it just
you screwed up 7 times.
It just looked like the knots were kind of tangled like immediately. Yeah. So it wasn't like you could just make one mistake and then just quickly correct it. It was sort of like if you made one mistake, you were kind of like, whoa, where the hell do you go down? Yeah. And then there were certain bits where obviously you had to fully lift someone, kind of over the whole thing. So even in choosing your pairs, you kind of had to have someone light and someone strong sort of thing. You had to sort of balance it out to be able to get through it.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
I had 2 questions highlighted here. Let me check this. Andy, did you roll balls in your backyard? And second question, was he cute? I don't know.
I obviously practiced my ball skills quite a lot.
But was he cute?
Yeah, there was a lot of playing with balls. Now, was he cute? Okay, that's that's between me and the other ball handler, obviously.
All right. I had a solo mission. My prep was. I take that back. You know what? I went to Catalina. I had a trainer. So you know what? I get that you needed a ball handler. I get it.
There you go. Yeah.
We're a lot alike, Andy.
Scarily, I think that's the case, which is causing me to question some of my life choices.
Yes, you need to apologize to God.
Matt, I'm sure you know where I'm coming from.
I do.
Yes, Matt. This is Matt every week. Questioning everything he's ever done.
Yeah, it's so funny because it's like I talk to people like this all the time. Like they're like, isn't it fucking crazy how like you were a big fan of Survivor and then like you played and then but before you played you watched Johnny Fairplay and now you're doing a podcast with Johnny? Isn't that crazy? I'm like, actually it's the worst thing that's ever happened in my entire life. It's really not that fucking great, you guys.
It's the gift of the Magi.
I love the honesty.
Oh fuck.
Andy's regretting doing this podcast.
But you, Andy, doing the skee ball, you like at that point you were super confident that you're winning this
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
so,
I mean, look, we were going to win that challenge even if Luke hadn't, kind of like, taken 20 minutes to untangle that. No, I think you know what it's like in the editing. They always kind of make things look a little closer, than they are in the finish. But so because the only thing at the end of that challenge, you had 2 throwers and you were only allowed to land 2 balls each, right? So that's why. So I landed my 2 balls in, I don't know, like the first minute, and then Harry had like, he would have had like half an hour to like land the next 2.
Oh my God.
We had so much time.
So it was a blowout as far as
it was a bit of a blowout. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like obviously, I think that Nova came through and sort of, got one at the end, but yeah, like Harry closed it out. Like it probably would have taken them another 20 minutes to get the other 3.
Well, I have in my notes, Daisy and John are like the dream team. That's what we call the team that runs the obstacles to make sure the challenges to make sure they work. So,
Exactly, yeah.
Daisy and John are like the dream team, and then I have Harry single-handedly wins for the Contenders. This is what I have in my notes. Is that revisionist history? I don't.
Could be a tiny bit of revisionist history there.
Matt writes. For the record, Matt writes my notes for me, and so if you have a problem with anyone on this, I think it's Matt because I if you go back and listen, huge supporter of yours. Obviously, I wear a visor, and
clearly every episode, right?
Yes, and Matt is the asshole here. So, why would you say that Harry single-handedly won this challenge?
You're an idiot. But Pia and Luke obviously lost this challenge. So going back to camp, Pia kind of sort of feels like, oh shit, I'm on the chopping block for this whole deal.
Not at all.
Yeah, and
we have Weasel Steve. That explains to us before the commercial break. Obviously, Abby or Ross is the one to go, and then I quickly surmise that Steve is not good at math, and and as if that weren't a big enough problem, we see Steve talking to Abby one-on-one, whereas Pia and Luke are the obvious targets here.
So I want to address this.
Yeah.
So according to what we see, and
I think we see a pretty honest rendition of what happened.
Yeah. So like Steve is kind of confronting Abby, which I honestly, as much as I'm not a fan of Steve, I don't think he was totally out of line with calling her out on backstabbing the alliance of the sports people, right?
That part I'm cool with.
Yeah, and maybe he came across a little bit of an attitude about it, but Abby kind of plays up this whole deal where like she starts crying. He was disrespectful.
No, I agree with the first part. He disagreed with her gameplay, but he did call her weak, and he did call her bullshit. Like his verbiage of saying it was wrong.
Yeah.
Like if he had said your game is weak,
that's
your
right.
game is bullshit.
I think what he would say is that he said that her justification for flipping was weak.
Yes.
That's what he would say.
Yes.
What she obviously took out of it, and I guess what Pia took out of it was calling her weak. And so and that happens in communication, right? Like
just
someone
bad verbiage,
one thing and someone else receives something else, and that's what happened.
It was nothing but a verbiage problem. But verbagely, apparently you took it the way Steve meant it, Matt. I did not. Verbagely, I felt he chose the wrong words, and he called Abby weak, and he called Abby bullshit. Do I think he meant that? No.
Yeah, I think his approach was wrong, but then Nova was there, and she was kind of later on.
Pia. Nova was Nova there at the very beginning? Because I don't think she was. I think she showed up.
That she was later on, right?
She claimed she was. I don't think she was. Yeah. I think I didn't go back and rewind it, but I know Pia was there the entire time. I felt like Nova came later.
Yeah, I think Nova may have been standing on the beach, and that those guys might have been like 5 yards out into the water or something.
But in Steve's defense, I don't blame. Like, I think he probably used the wrong verbiage, but I do not blame him for being pissed that she turned on their alliance. Because if I'm out there playing Survivor and I'm having a conversation and someone had just literally blindsided my whole fucking alliance, I'll be like fucking pissed. I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? How can I trust you?
Yeah.
This is fucking
You've got to have that conversation, right? Now, how do you manage that conversation? But you've got to try to see whether you can get these people back on board. Like that's a conversation you've got to have. It's just how do you do it?
But Abby's reply was pretty cut and dry. Let's see. Everyone, I left because of one person, and it was you.
Yeah. So am I going to come back?
I mean, like, what else is there?
On that?
Yeah, like I was cool with the other 5.
Yeah.
And was more than willing to work with the other 5. And we formed 7, and that leaves you.
But Steve does go to
he should have cut his losses.
But the thing I will say is I do respect Steve for finally going to apologize to Abby.
Well, before he apologized, don't worry. Golden God ain't taking that shit. No. Fuck you, Steve. Golden God's there to kick your ass. Why? Because, hold on, what does he say? Where I'm from, we back up an attack with a flying fucking kick. Bring it, Golden God. Fuck you, shitty Steve.
Now, so hang on. So you guys have watched All Stars? You've watched All Stars?
I've watched All Stars. He has not.
I have not.
That hasn't. Okay. So the one thing that I would say is listening to the Golden God talk about the fact that personal attacks on players are unacceptable is a little bit rich, maybe.
Yes.
What do you think, Johnny? Maybe just like a tiny.
I love the Golden God. Listen, I think I'm about to love you, Andy. I don't know yet. You're on the bubble, but I think I'm about to love you. Here's my whole thing with you.
Like, getting to you.
You say these grandiose things. I'm just like, well, fuck, because I start with All Stars, and then I've been working my way back, and then I hear about other players. I'm like, I never heard of this fucking Andy guy. So he's talking about fucking being so great, and he bringing him fucking back. And then I see on Blood vs. Water they bring back. I'm like, stop the presses.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this guy is what I hope. Like what do you?
No. I'm terrible. I was
we got a fucking spoiler on the fucking we did the cast assessment, and the guy that Cody that moderated it, he said how you finished.
I think my sister said that. Yeah.
Oh, I was so pissed.
Oh, you were. So was I.
I was fucking.
I don't like any spoilers.
Everyone thinks I know spoilers for shows because, there's other podcasts that do know spoilers.
Yeah,
and that makes them know more.
Mm-hmm.
But you go out of your way to avoid them.
I think it's more fun if I'm a fucking idiot.
Me too.
I hate it.
To avoid spoilers. Yeah. Nothing worse.
Yeah. So no, I had no. So no, I unfortunately got a spoiler. Not on the fucking next one. Thank God. I will fucking kill you if you fucking. But no, for this, I know that you win.
Okay, so you know that I won. Yeah.
So congratulations.
Awesome. Yeah.
I'm glad we have a winner here on the show.
Last couple of years, just been spending my money.
Oh, there you go. Let me hold 100.
Take it out of you. Spend
just
all
let me.
Money.
I'll send you my Venmo.
Yeah.
Because I know you. Because what year was your first season?
2019.
So I know you invested in Bitcoin. So
yeah, exactly.
Okay. So shit worked out.
It's been a bad week for Bitcoin. Bad couple of weeks.
I know you cashed out before then.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So you knew.
I wish.
Okay. All right. So we understand that that Nova is heartless. Steve apologizes, and it's now time for Tribal, and it is not Steve's night. But
No.
It is less Nova's night because we see the votes. It's Steve, Abby, Nova, and Nova with crocodile tears drawn on there by the Golden God. Who knew that a supermodel could draw?
He's very, very multi-talented, our Dave.
He is. I bet he could fuck 2 girls at once.
Oh.
And
we asked him whether he can turn left or not, and he said, yeah. He said there's a test that you have to do to go from being model to supermodel. And it's the Zoolander test. And if you can turn left,
he is a supermodel.
You get the stamp on your supermodel pass.
He is a supermodel.
He is a supermodel. Yeah, he's a disturbingly attractive man.
Yeah, Matt Bischoff called him an idiot on the cast assessment. And what else? What else?
I don't know. So I'm sure.
You look at him and you think, well, okay, if he's going to look like that, he can't actually be smart as well. But annoyingly, he is.
Yeah, he is amazing.
Yeah, I love the Golden God. I'm stoked. I can't wait to watch him more.
You and all the ladies.
Yes. All right. So Nova is voted out, and I guess Ross is now our chef. and JLP, being the greatest host of all time, says, Steve, just when you think all is lost, Steve skates through again.
Amazing. Some of JLP's finest work. Truly excellent.
That's the best thing he's ever said.
Yeah, I think that's right up there. It has to be.
There, I mean, like he had to know the votes going in, and you know, and all that was put together. But I'm like, God bless America and God bless Australia. That was the fucking best.
And God bless JLP.
Yes, and next week is
what every lady in Australia is saying today, given that he posted a shirtless video of himself on Twitter this morning.
Oh, did he?
Testing out one of the challenges for Blood vs. Water.
Oh wow! I'll be jerking off to that later.
JLP. I mean, boys.
Yeah. You ever rubbed one out to JLP? There's a correct answer, Andy.
I guess we all have at some point.
All right, well, there you go.
No matter whether we did it on the island or not.
I was giving you an out.
You only have one pair of socks on the island, so
don't waste them.
All I know is I can't wait to watch you on Blood versus Water. I wish you the best of luck.
Thanks,
it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. All right. So before we leave you, you get the call for Blood versus Water. What are you thinking?
Yeah. So the funny thing is, my sister, the one thing she had always said to me after I played was, if they ever do Blood versus Water, you have to take me. Like that was her one thing. Because I'd said to her, look, I was sort of like, I'm not sure if I'll play again. Like it's a lot of work. You get really skinny. I lost like 15 kilos. But she had always made me promise, if they do Blood versus Water and you get the option, you have to take me. And so yeah, when I got the call, I sort of like sighed and thought, oh shit, I guess I kind of promised on this one. So I spoke to her and said, hey, look, this is a possibility. What do you think? She's like, I'm 100% in. Say yes. So it was done.
So you lost 33 pounds. So what are you right now?
So my normal walking around weight is about 86 kilos.
Okay, hold
on. So do your math.
Okay, so that is 190 pounds is your normal weight?
Is my normal weight.
You're big. Oh my God. All you guys are so huge.
Oh, I'm almost 6'4". I'm like 6'3.5".
Do you know how big I am?
Like 5'7".
No, I'm 5'8", 150 pounds.
Sorry, Johnny. I was close.
That's close. But yeah,
But yeah, so I lost, so what did you say? 30,
30 pounds.
Oh, like 35 pounds.
33 pounds.
Yeah, 33 pounds. Yeah. It's a lot.
So it is insane. So for like Rupert is 5'10", like 180 pounds.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. God,
we're so much smaller than you.
You think of Rupert as being like 240.
The gentle giant.
Yeah. But he's just not that tall. Well, so the stupid thing in this season, in season 4, is everybody thinks I'm short because half the time I'm standing beside Sean Hampson or Dave, and Sean he's like a basketball center. He's like 6'7".
That's great. Well, I thought Dirty Harry was my doppelganger, and he was like, "Oh, I'm 6'2", 220." I'm like, okay, "You're not my doppelganger." Like King George
Harry's
is my
like a
doppelganger.
power lifter.
Yeah,
and actually, Harry does a bit of wrestling as well. Like I know you were, did a bit of wrestling in your day. So
So Matt,
Harry and Matty Wahlberg are both wrestlers.
Matt, Andy is 6'4".
Yeah, 6'3.5". 6'3.5".
Wow. It's so crazy.
190, 6'4", 190 or 6'3", 190 pounds.
Yeah.
Is that crazy?
That is fucking crazy. Because Johnny and I are small.
Yeah.
We're like 5'7". Yeah.
So Johnny kind of looks small, but Matty, like people I think would assume that you're like a big guy.
Big burly. I mean, I have more weight on me than Johnny, but I'm still pretty short. But we always say how physical Australian Survivor is, and that's why we are excited to see Blood versus Water, even to see Sandra like actually compete in challenges and not just sit on because it's so gnarly. I mean, I am a huge fan. Johnny tried to literally convince me, dude, Australian Survivor is so great. I'm like, yeah. Finally, I started watching it, and I love it.
He refused, and now he's just like, I don't want to cover.
Have you on board, Matt? We're thrilled to convert the Americans to.
Well, the Americans are loving it. I mean, Kobe Archer and all kinds of other American survivors.
Every survivor
loving.
We're all in.
Well, and especially because through COVID, obviously, where you didn't have a season for a while, I think was the perfect opportunity to discover the back catalog, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, the new season starts in less than 24 hours, and if you go to adfreeNSFW.com and join, there's probably a link to watch.
Amazing. Just delivering for the fans, Johnny.
And we wish you the best of luck, Andy, and especially, honestly, your sister,
who is ridiculously lovable.
She is the most adorable girl you've ever met, and I hope it comes through on the screen.
And I hope that she is not a victim of an errant shot towards you.
A sniper rifle.
How insane is that? Like that's how I feel. Like I feel as a great Survivor player. If I wanted to wound you, like I don't want to take you out. I want to hurt you first.
You are such a sicko, Johnny, and that's what we love about you.
Are you that same person?
Kind of like let him bleed out slowly a little for a while.
Are you that same person, or am I wrong? I like
no. I totally see where you're coming from, and I think it depends on the player because some players are going to be so weakened if they lose their loved one. Others, it might turn into a vendetta where they become like Rambo, like chasing down everyone who's involved in the hit. So you got to be careful, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, there's that. I mean, like there's some players you just go after. You just cut off the head of the snake.
Yeah, well, but in a tribe dynamic, you also got to think about: do you want to win challenges early? And so there might be someone you want to take out, but do we need to keep them around to get through some of these super physical Australian Survivor challenges as well?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to think about.
So, are you on the tribe? Who's the dude from? I gotta ask this. I don't care. the dude from Hell's Kitchen or
Khan from MasterChef.
Is he on? Is he starting your tribe?
So they haven't released the tribe.
They have.
Yeah. So
they have.
Released the tribe?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, they've released the tribe. Are you?
Yeah. I'm in the tribe with Khan.
Okay. So I mean, looking back, if you were to see someone that it has experienced reality television before, is that someone that you would be in that position more apt to work with?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, those people have an advantage going into the game, which could be dangerous. but they also have that shared experience that you might be able to bond over. So yeah, I think you'd have to just kind of sort of feel them out and see whether, because if they view you with suspicion because they know that you've played before, then that's a risk. So it's all about trying to read these people.
Well, me and Matt are a firm believer, and I've seen both sides of the coin. Fans versus favorites is not fair because
totally unfair, completely unfair.
The favorites have a ridiculous advantage.
They get annihilated.
A fan will never win.
Almost no chance. Like it was a miracle that Eric made it as deep as he did, right?
Exactly. So with that, I'm sitting there. I'm like, this isn't fans versus favorites. This is blood versus water. However, there are people that have played Survivor before, and there are people with reality television experience. If I'm one of those people, I play with my head and not my every alliance I've ever done is logic based.
Yeah.
And I feel logically, I see someone that's been on another reality show. I'm going up to them and I'm feeling them out. It's not a done deal. It's just hey, you're on a reality show. We're in an alliance. You don't have a choice. But I'm going to one of those people first. Yeah. Alliance wise.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. So as you say, like fans versus favorites, where it's an equal split, naturally, the favorites are gonna be sort of sticking together. Hey, we've got all this shared experience.
And they just know they know so much more.
And they know so much more about the way everything's going to play. In a season like this, where you've only got you've got whatever it is, 4 or 5 people out of 24 that have either played Survivor or have been on another reality show.
Well, no, you have 4 or 5 and the people they're bringing to the table.
That's true. That's true. Absolutely.
So I feel that number is 8 or 10 in reality.
Yeah, so something like that. But so the difference is the numbers aren't even, and so there are enough non-former players
not paying attention
to gang up on the
not paying it. No, there's a lot of non-paying attention. Players.
Yeah. So, but I agree. I think it does make sense because if the returning players are going to be a target, right, which they have been in certain seasons where only
sometimes it is. So, I mean, Sandra won Heroes Villains.
Yeah.
How was that possible?
No, but take a season where say the season 38 or whatever it was, where Audrey, where 3 of them went back. Yeah. It's like
target practice.
It's target practice, right? So if it plays out like that, then definitely the returning players should be getting together and trying to pull a few other people in, because divided, they're screwed, right? As you say, they're just, here's this huge target that knows more about the game than me. Why on earth would I want to let him win? So you have to kind of figure out what the vibe of the tribe is, hopefully.
Going back in time real quick, how insane was it when you asked Baden, you're just like, hey, are you a super fan? And you're just like, who has time for that? You have to watch for 40 years.
That was so funny.
Oh.
But it happened the whole way through the season.
And Harry was a super fan.
I was constantly pretending to not know, anything about the history of the show and what was going to happen next. And
that's so funny.
But Maddie had watched US Survivor. Harry had watched US Survivor.
Yeah.
And none of you guys had that conversation out there.
Well, so Sean was also a big fan as well, but Sean and I literally never spoke about it because I wasn't telling anyone that I knew anything about the game. Yeah. So I just watched, I don't know, a couple of I remember that, Richard Hatch guy and
Johnny Fairplay.
Who is that? Who is that douche with the grandma line? Oh my God.
I'm wearing a fucking visor, asshole.
We love you.
I love it.
Oh my God. All right. So Andy, tell us how you're spending the $500,000 from winning Blood versus Water.
Yeah, it's like having another $500,000 to have to spend
now after winning this season, of course. So, all right, well, I'm excited for you to fly me to Australia, Matt.
Absolutely. As soon as the winner's check comes through.
Yeah, sorry, Matt, you would be invited, but we're hanging out with Johnny O.
I'm
So
sure
you're not needed. He will be in a bikini.
Oh yes,
just the bottoms, of course.
yes.
Andy, thank you. Listen, you're an example of what we try to tell everyone whenever we do these cast assessments, whenever we do these podcasts across the board. We make these statements based on what we see on a television show.
Of course.
And every time we say that, we preface most of them, and sometimes we don't mean it, about certain people. But
Fair enough.
if you were chosen to be picked to experience this amazing thing called Survivor, whether it be in the United States or Australia, you're a very special person, and there's a reason you were picked. And you're probably an incredible person in real life. So, and you are. And thank you so much for joining us. So
This made my fucking day. So my this
absolute pleasure. And actually, like, seeing this sincere side of Johnny, Matt, is we're all part of an incredible community.
We
We're
are
very privileged to be a part of. And as
true.
you say, like, we've made some sort of sacrifice or huge effort to get ourselves into this community. And the fact that we're able to celebrate it now as a global community is absolutely amazing. And so
it opens up the whole whenever I meet someone who's played Survivor, you have that thing in common. And now we're able to share that with people from Australia, and hopefully, like, if I start watching like the South African Survivor stuff, it's a beautiful thing, because I think that Australian Survivor seems way harder than American Survivor. 55 fucking days. The challenges are gnarly as shit. The competitors are beasts, whether male or female.
Yes,
I mean,
I can't beat a single an Australian female in a challenge. So.
But mad respect.
No.
And I look forward to seeing you and your sister in Blood vs. Water, man. So thanks for coming on the podcast.
Hey, you're super welcome, guys. Thanks for having me. Love what you do. Keep on doing it and enjoy the rest of the season. Well, enjoy all of the seasons, because you've got two to watch now.
Okay, I will say this, Andy, before we go. So check out the podcast during the season. I think you'll be amazed at my headwear. And also check out johnnyfairplay.com for a couple new t-shirts dropping next week. They may be Andy inspired. Go to johnnyfairplay.com for that.
I love it, guys.
Awesome. And in the meantime, join ad-free nsfw.com if you want to watch Blood vs. Water, because apparently we might be one of the few folks providing it. And with that, goodbye. And for more reality NSFW content, visit adfreensfw.com.